Let me take you back to the year 1994. The Super Nintendo had been out in North America for 3 years, and it had already more than proven itself as a worthy successor to the NES. With Super Mario World, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Star Fox already blessing the system, it didn't seem like Nintendo had anything else to prove. They had more than met the challenge that Sega had presented them with, but with the threat of Sega's 32-bit system, the Saturn, releasing at the end of the year, and Sony's PlayStation coming the next year, Nintendo felt the pressure of obsolescence rising. With this, Nintendo sought to resurrect the original face of their company with a little help this time around. Rareware, founded by brothers Tim and Chris Stamper, were a third-party developer who brought more than 60 titles to the NES and Game Boy, primarily under Nintendo, Acclaim, and LJN. In November of 1994, Donkey Kong Country would finally release, not only being met with universal acclaim, but financially selling over 9 million copies worldwide. Donkey Kong Country's impressive character design, engaging gameplay, and pre-rendered graphics made it a must-own for the Super Nintendo in 1994. Donkey Kong had once again proven himself as being a money monkey for Nintendo, and less than a year later at E3 1995, its sequel would be announced. Using the same workstations and with Tim Stamper at the helm of the title, the team's focus was aimed at making a more challenging experience than its predecessor while adding new tandem gameplay elements with the new character duo of Diddy and Dixie Kong. People absolutely loved this game, and with how many copies the original sold, you thought they would have seen the demand for the sequel coming. But Donkey Kong Country 2 was so sought after upon release that suppliers couldn't initially meet the demand during its launch. The ramp in difficulty was welcomed by fans, as was the change in scenery. No longer stuck on Kong Island, Donkey Kong Country 2's World of Pirates is visually distinct and consistent but varied during the sequel's journey through Crocodile Isle. Top-notch visuals, more punishing and faster gameplay, and David Weiss back to do the soundtrack, Rare had proven the return of Donkey Kong wasn't a fluke. With all of that said, we get to the meat of the matter. Donkey Kong Country 3, Trixie Kong Double Trouble. Tim Stamper was back in the director's position yet again, this time leading Rareware's B team, as most of the developers of Donkey Kong Country 2 had began work on Project Dream. The music this time around was actually composed by Evelyn Fisher, with David Weiss only contributing 5 tracks to the game. While most of the new developers lacked any experience with the series, they made up for that with their creativity. Donkey Kong Country 3 follows in the steps of the second game by branching out and defining itself from its predecessor. The third entry took the series away from the snappier, more kinetic gameplay of the first 2 games and instead gives the player a much more diverse experience. Donkey Kong Country 3 would have a heavier focus on overcoming obstacles and solving the occasional light puzzle. When I say light puzzle, I mean it. These are not brain-taxing at all. A major change this time around are animal transformations. Gone are the days of breaking open a crate and hitching a ride on the back of your newly liberated friend, because now Dixie and Kitty are straight up animorphs. Returning animal buddies include Ungard, Squitter, Squawks, and Quawks. Rambi didn't even make it in this time around, instead being replaced by Ellie the elephant. They weren't even trying that day. Ellie is fun to play as, but it's undeniable that Rambi is the best buddy in the entire series. Equally undeniable, however, is the fact that Rambi simply doesn't fit into Donkey Kong Country 3's level design. Levels in DKC3 can have you stop dead in your tracks, waiting for a door to open once you've pulled a switch, waiting for a platform to lower, or even waiting for the auto-scroller to catch up because you're moving too fast. The question becomes, does the slower pace hinder the fun aspect of the game? No, I don't think it does. Donkey Kong Country 3 has always stood out in the trilogy to me because it tried to expand on the already popular formula. The core gameplay hasn't changed at all. DKC3 is fundamentally the same game as its predecessors. What has changed are the moment-to-moment gameplay experiences. Almost every level introduces a new gameplay mechanic or idea into the fold, and the larger quantity of collectibles help make Donkey Kong Country 3 all that much more replayable. The game's level variety is easily one of its strongest aspects. Levels and environments are beautiful, the best visuals the Super Nintendo had to offer, though this isn't without the occasional slowdown. New to the series is the all-too-loathed Kiddy Kong. Yes, he's a baby, yes, he's essentially just Donkey Kong, and yes, his character design is easily the weakest the series has seen. This is likely a design choice by Rare to replace Donkey Kong with Kitty as to not outshine Dixie in her starring role. With that said, Kitty is by no means useless. Kiddy Kong is just as versatile as DK, with the exclusive water skip move. Similar to Link's Deku form in Majora's Mask, Kiddy Kong is able to skip on the surface of water for a short time, allowing him to reach areas Dixie can't. In all reality, it's not a move you'll be using very often, and it's better suited for finding the bonuses and collectibles in the game. Many of the mechanics work in favor of the game. In Fish Food Frenzy, you'll be leading a hungry fish through the level, feeding it constantly and avoiding the lurchins at all costs. Failing to feed the fish will cause it to attack Kitty and Dixie. These underwater levels alone make the game memorable. I mean, look at that background, the color palette and the depth add so much so what could have just been another water level in a video game. Poisonous Pipeline is another standout level with a great mechanic, left and right being reversed while underwater. It makes you think about every move you make, especially in tighter spaces. Lazy name aside, Ellie is fun to play as. Murky Mill is a great level where you use barrels to get rid of the sneaks lurking around. If Ellie catches sight of a sneak in the spotlight, she'll get startled and run away. In Riverside Race, you're not only in a race against an angry group of bees that want nothing more than to mess your day up, but in the bottom right hand corner there's a timer with a record time of 1 minute 15, incentivizing you to beat the level faster. Doing so will reveal a path to one of the many banana bird caves. Of course, this being a rare game, we have collectibles scattered throughout every level. DK coins return from the second game, though this time you'll be collecting them from Coin here. Since you can't attack him from the front, you'll have to get creative in the way that you bash him. Bonus coins are collected upon completion of a bonus barrel, and you'll use them to unlock levels in the final area, Krematoa. To give you an idea of how insane the collectibles are here, there are a total of 85 bonus coins, 41 DK coins, and 15 banana birds to get 105% completion within the game. DKC3 in my eyes sets itself apart from the other two games by giving us the zaniest, most alive-feeling world in the trilogy. I love the overworld map and how much more diverse every zone feels overall. It's a bit odd. While DKC3 sports 2 less level environments than Diddy's Conquest, levels feel more diverse here thanks to the use of alternate color palettes. Speaking on the presentation, let's come back to the music. Evelyn Fisher composed a majority of the game's soundtrack, and I think she did a fantastic job. Admittedly, the music here doesn't reach the same heights as DKC 1 and 2 soundtracks, but the score has a much more youthful feeling to it, which fits the story and visuals well. With all of that said, I still hold the belief that Donkey Kong Country 3 is my favorite game in the original trilogy. I could argue that regardless of its quality, DKC 3 never could have lived up to the hype after Diddy's Conquest. The truth is, that isn't the truth. By the time Donkey Kong Country 3 was released in November of 1996, Super Mario 64 had already been out for 2 months. By all accounts, DKC 3 was destined to be left behind on the Super Nintendo, and remembered as the black sheep of the original trilogy. Regardless, Donkey Kong Country 3 is an all-time classic platformer for the Super Nintendo. Rare would go on to develop some of the most classic video games of all time, including Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day, before being bought out by Microsoft in 2002. As for Donkey Kong Country, the series is kept alive thanks to Retro Studios' duology of DKC Returns and Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze is easily my favorite game in the series. Besides 3, it's the one that I think you should play regardless of whether or not you want to try the original trilogy, and you can get it on the Switch. It's been out for a couple years now, and I think it's amazing. And if you'd like to try Donkey Kong Country 3 and you don't have a Super Nintendo, you can play it on Nintendo Switch Online along with the first 2 games. So, DKC 1, 2, or 3, which is your favorite? Sound off in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching my first video on this channel. You can also feel free to leave a suggestion for another video game I could review in the future. I hope you guys have a good day.